Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. And so today I'm going to talk about Clash of the Castle, Scotland, pay-per-view. And I'm just going to give my real thoughts straight up. I'm going to be completely honest with you about this pay-per-view. I think it was the worst pay-per-view of the year. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Now, there were a lot of great pay-per-views this year so far. But after watching this pay-per-view, yeah, I was a bit disappointed with it. Now, don't get me wrong. Were there some high spots with this? And does this mean that I think this goes up there with some of the worst pay-per-views ever? No, I don't think it was that bad of a pay-per-view. I just think it was the worst pay-per-view this year, specifically, because I just think overall it was just kind of a disappointment. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. I think this whole pay-per-view was a complete disappointment. And I just don't think things were booked correctly at all with this pay-per-view. Now, like I said, I think every match had a problem with it. I think every match on the card had some type of problem, whether it be something unintentional or it was just something that was completely booked wrong. So the first thing, which was the opening match, was Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles in an I Quit match. First of all, Cody Rhodes being the opening match to me was a stupid decision. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Yes, I know they were in Scotland. Drew McIntyre was the hometown hero, but I would not have put the person who's supposed to be the face of the company as the first match. And also another thing, Cody Rhodes had the biggest pop of the night, including Drew McIntyre. Make no mistake about it. Drew McIntyre, when he came out the night before to do his, interview with Michael Cole or whatever in front of a live audience, the crowd was dead. Like, they didn't seem that engaged. As a matter of fact, there were times where, there were CM Punk chants in the crowd. So, it being all for Drew Mac, like Scotland being for Drew Mac because he's the hometown hero, it wasn't there. It was not there. It was not a hometown fight feel like you would see like CM Punk in Chicago, for example, or when someone comes to hometown. Like, I was really surprised. WWE tried downplaying this and tried to make it seem like Drew had a big deal by doing the crowd noise thing when he came out, which we'll get more to that later, but I didn't feel it. It didn't feel like it was like a partisan crowd, like it didn't feel like when you go in there, oh, it doesn't matter if this guy's a heel or the good guy, we're still going to cheer for him no matter what. You've seen that with Owen Hart, like when he faced Austin, for example, at Survivor Series all the way back in '97. You've seen that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get that feeling from this event, from this Scotland crowd, at least from what I saw on the telecast. So I would have had Cody Rhodes be in the main event. He had the biggest pop out of every one of the night. Another thing, this match, the match was fine. The Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles match was fine. There was nothing wrong with the match quality of the match. The biggest issue I had with Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles is I wouldn't have made it an I Quit match. I think the I Quit match idea didn't work here. I felt like that was just kind of thrown in there. Like, oh, well, he faked retiring, so we're going to have it be an I Quit match. I didn't like that idea at all, especially to what everything they were doing, going to the arena and all that stuff like that, constant weapons and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that match would have been perfect for just to do a false count anywhere. Like, I feel like a false count anywhere match would have been so much better in this situation than doing an I Quit match. And the match itself was fine. Again, Cody won, but again, they made him a little kind of weak by making it look like, oh, well, Cody would have lost the title if, you know, it had been a regular match or whatever because he passed out. Like, I was like, that's not good. Like, because Cody's supposed to be the face of the company. Like, and you're, like, making him look weak. You know what I'm saying? So, no, I didn't like that. Cody did win. It was kind of a cheesy ending because they kind of stole that idea from Edge and Christian's I Quit match. You know, with threatening to hit him with, you know, a lethal weapon like the steel steps, or whatever. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. You know, again, I Quit matches are hard to book because it's like if you're trying to protect the other opponent that's going to lose, it's going to be very hard because they have to say I quit. You know, it's very hard to, you know, make a guy lose and make him still look strong in the match. You know, so it's why I don't really. I wouldn't book an I Quit match because it's very hard unless I knew the person that we really wanted to win wins and we're not afraid the person who loses is going to look you know, weak, because like otherwise there's just no point in doing it because AJ, there was no way AJ wasn't getting out of this not looking strong, you know. And I don't know if they're continuing anything with AJ and Cody, but that's my take on the Cody match. I would give it a 3 stars out of 5. Not definitely not better than the Backlash match. The Backlash match was like, I would say the Backlash match was 4.5 to 5. It was very close to a 5-star match in my opinion. And that was the Backlash match. The Backlash match, just a straight up wrestling match. That was to me, it was a much better match. This kind of was more of a downgrade to that. The Triple Threat Tag match, the WWE Women's Championship, the Unholy Union or whatever, taking on Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Starks. Didn't care for this match whatsoever. I didn't care who won. But I will say Jade Cargill didn't look good in this match. She botched a couple of times, and she also tapped out to Shayna Baszler, and apparently, you know, even Michael Cole acknowledged that, you know, Jade Cargill tapped out. But yet they just ignored that, and the Holy Union ended up winning. Yes, I know it's a script, but it still doesn't change the fact that she tapped out in the middle of the ring. I don't, you know. People say it was a botch by Shayna Baszler because Shayna Baszler was holding on to her too hard, but that was a tap out. That was a tap out. You gotta have to do something better than that. That was a tap, and that's the thing I said because I've been watching Jade Cargill since AEW. When she lost to the Bunny. She lost to the Bunny. The Bunny pinned her 1, 2, 3. Like, the referee stopped the count. She lost to the Bunny, and, you know, this is another thing that happened that Jade Cargill screwed up on. She tapped out in the middle of the ring, and they didn't acknowledge it, and the AEW did the same thing where, you know, she forgot to kick out, and she forgot to kick out, and the Bunny or the referee had to stop the count. Like, otherwise she would have lost the match, which again just made everything look stupid because again the referee should not stop the count. That's on the wrestlers to know their cues. But again, this made Jade look, in my opinion, really weak. I mean, it may have been Shayna Baszler's fault, but again, she needed to do something different at that point. You can't tap out in the middle of the ring. You cannot tap out in the middle of the ring, like, because everyone is seeing that. Everyone sees that live and can continue showing it. So yeah. Unholy Union wins, though technically Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark should have won because Jade Cargill tapped out. So yeah. This is the match that pissed me off the most. And by the way, that was the last match was fucking a star and a half. Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable. Sami Zayn won the match, unfortunately, again. And this is the match that pissed me off the most. I am pissed at Triple H for booking it this way. I am pissed at him doing what he's been doing to Chad Gable. Chad Gable should have beaten Gunther at WrestleMania. And at the end of the match, Sami Zayn basically buried Chad Gable. He basically said, no more title shots. No more title shots. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this was the ultimate burial. And like, that's it. I don't think he's getting another shot. Like, some people are like, oh, they're going to wait until SummerSlam when he is with the Career Brothers or whatever. Like, dude, no. That was a burial. That was a fucking burial. That was Triple H telling the audience this is over with. That is what that basically was. I know because I've watched wrestling for a long time to know the ideas that they do when they're like telling the audience this is it. And that's what they just basically did to Chad Gable. Chad Gable was just basically buried. He was buried, and the fans wanted him at WrestleMania. This is what they did. Chad Gable was so over right before WrestleMania to dethrone Gunther. In front of his daughter. That was the whole idea. Everybody wanted to see that. And then Sami Zayn won that number one contender match over him in that gauntlet. And then they basically used Chad Gable as a tool for Sami Zayn and his family. So basically they took the storyline that Chad Gable was building towards, and they gave it to Sami Zayn. Hell, they even had his wife and his kid out there, which was basically what Chad Gable wanted to do, okay, in storyline, okay? So they basically gave Sami Zayn Chad Gable's own storyline, and then they forced Chad Gable to turn on Sami, and then basically make Chad look like a bitch, because then he lost to Sami Zayn twice, and he couldn't beat him. He tried to make him tap out with the submission hold, the ankle lock. He tried using heel tactics. He tried to manipulate the Alpha Academy. He did all that shit, and he still couldn't win. Dude, that was a burial. Like, no, he is not getting another shot. Triple H just basically told you that I'm not going to push this guy. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't believe it. The way they concocted the whole thing with screwing with Chad Gable just tells me that he is not getting another shot. This was, to me, a burial. This was basically Triple H telling the fans, nope, we're not pushing Chad Gable. We're not giving him the belt. I think this is it. I think what they're going to do now is they're going to break up the Alpha Academy. What they're going to do is they're going to break up the Alpha Academy. Otis is going to feud with Chad Gable. And then Otis is going to win. And then that's going to be the end of it. That is Ultimate Burial 101. That's what the distraction's going to be. And so Sammy's going to move on, do his thing. That's what they did. They basically punished Chad Gable because the fans wanted Chad Gable to win. And again, there's this whole thing going on with Triple H that he doesn't like tall people. I mean, or not tall people, I'm sorry. He doesn't like short people. And what I mean by short people, I mean like people that are like about 5'8" to 5'10". because he's not pushing guys like that. If you noticed, a lot of the guys that are being put up, they are either close to 6 feet or they are over 6 feet. And I'm talking about the built height and or physical height. I believe Chad Gable's real height is about 5'9", which is probably, because I'm about 5'10", and that's his real height. You could have a build height, which gives you about 2 feet, but even then he'd be about 5'11", which is, to me, not going to be good enough for them. They want wrestlers to be at least 6 feet or over, and that's what Triple H seems to be pushing. He seems to be pushing guys that are at least 6 feet tall. I could be wrong about this. Maybe later on he will push, shorter guys. And I'm not talking about established guys, too, by the way. I'm not talking about established guys, because established guys you can't count because they were already there before Triple H became in charge. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really starting to wonder, because a lot of people have been theorizing about the height thing for a while with Triple H and how he books. I am seriously wondering if that is the reason why he buried Chad Gable. Because this was a burial. I don't think this is going to continue. If it continues, I'm wrong, fine. Okay, cool. I'll admit I'm wrong, but I don't see it. I don't see it, guys. I just don't fucking see it. I hated this match. Look at it say. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It was, the match quality was fine. It's just the foolery was just so fucking bad. And I just hated how they buried Chad Gable here. Next we had the women's championship match. We had Bayley versus Dewdrop, aka Piper Niven. Chelsea Green was there in the beginning, but she got banned from ringside. The match was whatever. I wasn't really that interested in this match. If you're gonna be completely honest, Bayley won. Whatever. It was 1.5. I wasn't really that into it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I wasn't into that match either. And then the main event was Damian Pierce versus Drew McIntyre. Bayley won that match, by the way, against Piper Niven. So Damian Priest defeated Drew McIntyre, and all the people were all the Judgment Day was banned from ringside. There was a thing that happened earlier in the match where we thought we thought Damian Priest was seriously injured, because he was doing some type of suicide dive off the ropes or whatever, or over the rope outside the ring, and he got caught on the ropes, where his ankle and leg was literally tied up, and it was I thought he was gonna die. We were fucking looking. I was like, holy shit. If he didn't get caught, I'll say that if he didn't get caught on the ropes, he probably would have gotten a concussion. He may have been saved by the ropes. His ankle got fucked, but we don't know the status of his, of how bad the ankle is, because after that happened, he was you could tell, he was, the ankle was hurting him after that. He was doing it throughout the whole match. I know some people will say, well, maybe he was just selling some of that, which that's possible, but it was noticeable, where he was just continuously going on it. For the rest of the match, Drew McIntyre handled it like a pro. He tried to stay in character, but at the same time trying to get him out of it. But yeah, that could have been disastrous. If he would have landed head first, he probably would have gotten a concussion. So that's the only thing that benefited the ropes, tying him up like that, because if the ropes didn't tie him up, he would have fell head first, down to the canvas. If the ropes didn't catch him like that, he would have fell head first, and then the match probably would have not finished at that point. So, yeah, after that, again, it was what it was. Like I said, Drew McIntyre was the hometown hero in this match, but the pop wasn't as big as I expected it to be. Like I said, it was not that big. Cody Rhodes got a bigger pop than him. But you know, is a physical match. Drew McIntyre, put the claymore on. Pierce kicked out of one of them that surprised me without a rope break. And then he put another one on him, but the referee got knocked out. And then CM Punk came out, did a 1-2 and does the 2 instead, which was quite hilarious for the meme and stuff like that. Excuse me. But he then he tried to like choke Punk, but then Punk kicked him in the balls. And then after that, Damian Pierce got the Claiborne, and then the referee gets back up 1, 2, 3. Pierce wins. The only thing I take away from this match is that I would have had CM Punk come out and actually do the 1, 2, 3, because CM Punk is not an official referee. He was not a special guest referee for this match. He was not an enforcer for this match. So he was not a licensed referee. So what I would have done was I would have had him had him do the 1, 2, 3, and then what I would have had Drew do is I would have had him celebrate, not knowing that Punk is the referee. He would have celebrated from the other side, right? So he would have not known that Punk was the referee. So he's like celebrating. He's all happy. He won the world title. And then, he turns around and he realizes that CM Punk was the referee. And Punk's like, I'm not the licensed referee. And so then Drew is just like, starts to, go over him, choke him like he does. Punk kicks him in the balls exactly the same way. And then that leads to Damian Pierce winning. Because, again, that could have added more layers to the match because Punk was not a licensed referee or assigned a special guest referee for the match. So, Punk doing the count would have been irrelevant. Like, if he would have counted 1, 2, 3, it wouldn't have counted because he was not the licensed referee. So that's what I would have done. Damian Priest looked really weak in this match, in my opinion, because Drew McIntyre looked very, very strong and looked like he was going to win. And I don't know if this is because they're clearly going for Damian Pierce and Gunther at SummerSlam for the world title because Gunther won King of the Ring, and so he has to face whoever that brand's champion is. He can't choose, which I think is stupid, by the way. But we know they're going to do Gunther and Damian Priest. I'm not a fan of this because you already are going to have multiple matches that are going to overshadow that match. Cody Rhodes versus whoever for the WWE Championship is going to overshadow it. CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre is going to overshadow it. Then you got LA Knight versus Logan Paul for the United States Championship. That is most certainly going to overshadow it. So Damian Priest and Gunther for the World Championship is not a match that I think is a good idea. I don't think that match is going to be that interesting. And again, Damian Priest is a paper champion. He is. Like, he is a transitional champion because Gunther's gonna take the title from him. His first title defense at Backlash, he only retained because of the Judgment Day, even though he didn't want the Judgment Day's help. The Judgment Day is the reason why he retained. His second pay-per-view title defense was against Drew McIntyre, and he only won because of CM Punk, who's the reason why he's the champion to begin with, by the way. For helping him cash in the Money in the Bank by by allowing him to attack Drew McIntyre when he did at WrestleMania. So, yeah, I mean, basically, the way I look at this, I don't know where they're going. Like, I was like looking at this, it's like, how do you not have Drew McIntyre win here and have him face Punk for the World Championship? Now I look back on this, but they can't now because Gunther was going to, face whoever the winner was, so that couldn't have happened. Drew couldn't have won the title because he would have had to face Gunther then. So I do not like this. Gunther versus Damian Pierce is not going to be that good of a match. Gunther beating Pierce is not going to really benefit Gunther because Pierce is kind of a newer champion and he's not even really that over. And he's really more of a paper champion than anything else. Sorry for people that like him. I'm just telling it like it is. He hasn't really had a credible victory as champion yet. And before people say, "Oh, well, he's a heel," that's what heels are supposed to be like. Look, that doesn't mean they can't be dominant. Gunther was Intercontinental champion for the past couple of years, right? And how many times did you really see Gunther cheat to win? Not many, if at any. He was a dominant champion, and he was a heel. Okay? So, yes, you can have heels be dominant and not always cheat, not always have to do the dirty tactics like a typical heel will do. But it seems like with Damian Priest, they don't have any idea what they want to do with him. Like, I hear reports that they want to turn him babyface, but it never feels like that. Like, sometimes they piggyback and then go back to the other direction with him. Like, it doesn't feel like they know what they want to do with him. Like, they don't know if they want him to stay as a heel. They don't know if they want to transition him into a babyface. Like, at Backlash, it seemed like they were trying to transition him back. They were trying to transition him into a babyface, right? Because he didn't want the Judgment Day's help. But now, in the recent weeks, it feels like, oh yeah, he wants the Judgment Day there, right? He wanted the Judgment Day at his side, but he lost that match, so Judgment Day was banned from ringside. So it doesn't feel like they know what they want to do with this guy, like in terms of what role they want him to be. And that's why I say, like, he has no identity as the champion right now. That's why people are saying he's a paper champion or a transitional champion, is because they don't know what they're doing with him right now. It's just been kind of a whatever reign. It's like he's been overshadowed by other guys on the show. Like, when we're thinking about Monday Night Raw, we're not tuning in to see him. We're tuning in to see if CM Punk's going to be on the show. We're tuning in to see if Drew McIntyre wants to get more on CM Punk. We're not tuning in to see him as world champion. He just feels like a guy who's holding the title. Like, he feels like a belt warmer. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't feel like a world champion. All right? And then, you're going to have Gunther just beat him. And when Gunther beats him for the title, if that's what they're going for here, it's like, oh yeah, Gunther won. Okay, he beat somebody who has really no identity as champion right now. That's where I would say that, I would have put the title on Punk when he came back, because Punk is the number one merchandise seller. He is the most interesting guy on Raw, and he's not even wrestled yet on Raw since coming back. He has the most interesting stuff going on right now, and he'll be even more interesting when he comes back and is medically cleared officially. So, yeah, that's where I stand on this. This match, Drew and Damian, I would put it at 2.5. I don't think it was better than Cody and AJ, but I mean, it was whatever. It was okay for what it was, but definitely not the best match on the card. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this pay-per-view. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate, if you like videos. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell for the latest contents. Thank you. And that's about it. I am the Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace.